I welcome you very warmly to our webinar, Efficient Quoting and Discount Management with Salesforce CPQ. I'm very pleased that you decided to spend this hour with us. I'm sure that you will find out some interesting insights about configure, price, and quote processes. So, well, let's start. First, short introduction of our speakers. I'm going to start with myself. So, I'm Krzysztof, really difficult name in Polish, and English version is Chris. And I'm an executive at Cloudity, responsible for developing business on CE. Together with me, there are some really interesting guests. So my colleagues from Cloudity and our special guest from Salesforce. So Nelly, let's start with you. Are you there? Can you say a few words about you?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning. My name is Nelly Achelius, also called Nelly when it's hard to pronounce. And I work as a BDR. I work with business development in the Nordics. I'm located in Stockholm.
Cool. Thank you, Nelly. Xavier, how about you?
Hi guys. Great pleasure to be here with you. And basically, yeah, my name is Xavier. Have 10 years of experience working with Salesforce technology, but today in Cloudity, I'm senior application architect, and I'm also the CPQ lead practice. And some small insight, I was also the architect that was involved in the Kaspersky project. So because we'll be referring to this project during the webinar, so I think it was worth to mention. Thanks, Krzysztof.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Xavier. So as I mentioned before, we got our special guest from Salesforce. So how are you doing, Mark?
Good morning. Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for attending today. It's very much appreciated. You've given us some of your valuable time. So really quickly, because we've a lot to get through, Mark Colvin is my name. I've been in Salesforce for 10 years, but for the last 5 years, I've been managing and running our CPQ and billing part of our business this year specifically for our growth market. So I'm very happy to be able to speak to you all today, and thank you for joining.
Thank you, Mark. So, well, before we start, I would like to thank you that you joined us. It's a great pleasure speaking for attendees and Cloudity. We very appreciate your support in the event. Okay, cool. So we get the first part and that. So let's start with a quick agenda. So first of all, Nelly will tell you a short story about Cloudity and Salesforce. After that, Mark will tell you about the power of Salesforce CPQ. And after that, Xavier will show you a demo and will show you this power. We get planned a Q&A session on the last 10 minutes of our webinar. So please feel free to write your questions on the chat panel on your GoToWebinar tool, and we'll get back to these questions on the last 10 minutes of our webinar. So let's move on. Nelly, once again, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Krzysztof. Thank you. So as you mentioned, before we move on to today's main topic, which is the CPQ, I'm going to say some words about who we are and some words about Salesforce. So we'll start with a quick intro. So Cloudity established 2014. It's more than 6 years now. So we are a Salesforce Platinum Consulting Partner. And that means that we help companies to use the best of Salesforce. And we do that by implementing and tailor-make effective Salesforce business applications. With these implementations, we help companies from many different industries eliminate unnecessary processes within that company, and we help them managing the change that comes with digitizing business. So we provide advice on cloud technology, on computer science, AE, and machine learning. And we often get the question if Salesforce is our core, or if we also work with other systems. And the answer to that is that even though we are familiar with integrating Salesforce with other systems, Salesforce is our core, is our main focus. And why is that? So at Cloudity, we believe that Salesforce is currently the best solution on the market. And we tend to keep more and more data in the cloud nowadays, and we believe that this is a tendency that should be followed because it brings measurable benefits to all kinds of businesses. And in my opinion, today you should be able to access your data anytime, anywhere, and also from your mobile device. I believe that we can change slide here, Krishik. So thank you. I believe that the majority of you are probably already familiar with Salesforce, but for you that haven't heard a lot about it, I will say some words. So you may have heard already that Salesforce is known as the #1 CRM and the global leader in the business application market, and that it's been transforming the business world by moving software to the cloud for many years. But it also differs in other ways from other tools a lot. One thing that makes it stand out so much, I would say, is its ecosystem and its philosophy. So this ecosystem is also called Salesforce or Customer Success Platform. As you can see here in the picture, the idea here is to always keep this customer in the center and to offer many different solutions that connect with each other to follow that journey or her journey. And that can be, for example, applications like marketing, sales, commerce, service, and IT departments. And while doing this, you get this 360-degree view of your customer. These can, for example, give benefits like the team can get a shared view of their customers. They can work together, building a lasting, trusted relationship and deliver personalized experience, which is very important today and that customers expect nowadays. So we can move on to the next slide. And just to make it crystal clear, I said some words about Cloudity and some words about Salesforce, but I want to talk about the relationship between us and the customer. So what are our roles here? And to the left, you can see Salesforce here as the provider of the platform. Salesforce provides the vision, maintains the platform, and ensures the security and availability. And to the right, you can see Cloudity, and we are the consulting partner. So we work with digital advisory, we do the implementations, we help companies with change management to ensure the high system adoption. And the customer role in this circle is in the bottom here, is to participate in this change process and set and verify the business needs and requirements. And so we can move to the next slide. Yes, and as I mentioned, we established 2014. It's originally a Polish company, Cloudity, but and so we have the headquarters in Warsaw, as you can see to the right. But we also have 2 other offices in Europe. So we have one office located in Stockholm, taking care of the Nordic area, where I'm sitting, and also an office in Berlin, in Germany, taking care of the DACH area. So Cloudity is mainly or mostly focusing on the European market, but we also have big projects going on outside of Europe. And if we change slide here, yes, so we've been doing over 350 implementations in over 25 countries. And this is one, I would say maybe the most important slide. It's about our 140 employees. We are growing rapidly and organically, and it's very important for us that the people on board at Cloudity need to be certified. So our consultants are certified within all areas through the Salesforce ecosystem, and we also develop our own business applications. So I think that was some info about us and about Salesforce. And Krishik, back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Nelly. Very interesting presentation, as always. That was a short story about Cloudity and Salesforce. And now, so let's move to the main point of our today's webinar. So it's a story about Salesforce CPQ. So Mark, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you, Chris. So again, thank you everybody for joining. It's as I mentioned, very appreciated. And as I would encourage you all as well, if you do have any questions, at any stage during today's session, please feel free to input them into the chat portion of our webinar tool. We're more than happy to answer them at the end of our session during Q&A, or maybe after the call if we don't have time, which hopefully we will have time later on. So Chris, if we can move to the first slide, it would be great. So really, guys, to start with, I suppose what I wanted to do, I suppose because I'm conscious maybe some people in the audience today mightn't be familiar with CPQ, and others might be familiar. So let's just start with actually addressing what is CPQ firstly. So CPQ in and of itself is an industry standard that allows companies to manage B2B commercial process. That's effectively what CPQ is. So it actually, as you can see, stands for configure, price, and quote. And that in and of itself is an industry standard. However, Salesforce CPQ is a Salesforce specific tool or capability that we have on our platform that allows our customers to manage their B2B commercial process all on one place, which is the Salesforce platform. So that's just in terms of a sense check, just getting the articulation of the industry standard, but then the Salesforce version of that industry standard on our platform. So if you can very quickly move to the next slide, Chris, when you're ready. So now that we have at least an introductory idea of what Salesforce and CPQ is, what is it being used for? So just to give some context, so when we work with customers and when we speak to customers working on projects, typically the context that they're coming from is that they are a company that maybe has one type of product and one type of revenue model, and through either growth or the need to innovate or change the way they work, they're finding that their current systems are hamstringing or stopping them from evolving or growing the way they need to. So as things start to scale for business, or the way you operate as a business needs to change, your technology stack tends to need to change, or to be able to allow you to change. So on the slide here, guys, we've got some of the very typical scenarios when we work with customers and when we work on projects that are the drivers to needing to use Salesforce CPQ. And I'll touch on each of these points very quickly individually. The first one that I would mention would be the ability to look at creating what we call packages or bundles. So lots of companies may be in manufacturing, a lot of companies may be in software, high tech. They want to have the ability to create on Salesforce a pre-configured package or bundled product. That is one of the things that lots of our customers are coming to us with in terms of looking to utilize CPQ. And that's a very common requirement or use case for the majority of our customers in terms of being able to innovate the way they work in a particular B2B process. Again, transitioning to a recurring revenue model. So lots of our customers, as I mentioned, maybe in the software or the high-tech industry, would have maybe a historical on-premise methodology of selling their product, a perpetual license perhaps. And with the way the subscription economy is developing, they're now looking to have to move into a subscription-based type of offering or a SaaS offering. Again, Salesforce CPQ is built specifically to facilitate that type of transition. So again, if you're moving to subscriptions, recurring revenues, that is something that is a real driver for Salesforce CPQ in terms of what it enables our customers to do. Another transition in terms of revenue models might be where you're actually looking to enable your sales teams or your business to sell consumption or usage-based products. So you want to be able to sell your customers products that you will bill them for in arrears on a monthly basis based on how much they consume or how much they use. And again, that type of complexity is really where Salesforce CPQ thrives. It allows you to bring complex scenarios from a B2B process into Salesforce using Salesforce CPQ. Another area that is a key driver for Salesforce CPQ for our customers that we find is customers like Kaspersky that want to manage a very complex and large partner or VAR channel ecosystem, and they want to extend the facility of enabling their partners, their dealers, their VARs to be able to configure and price and quote in an environment where they can control that. And again, because CPQ is part of our platform, we can extend our platform to a community or portal for dealers, for partners, for VARs. So again, a very, very common driver for the technology that Salesforce CPQ enhances on our platform. And then complex deals is kind of linked to bundled solutions. So it almost goes without saying in the CPQ world that if you have a B2B process that has any level of complexity, that is something that would be a kind of a box that would be ticked to say that CPQ is something that maybe you should consider in terms of simplifying that complexity for your salespeople internally. So Chris, I think that's probably okay for this slide if we want to move on to the next slide. So that slide is just giving a bit of context as to why some of our customers come to us, or what are the drivers in terms of our conversations that we have with our customers, at least at the starting point. So when we speak to our customers about these drivers of change or growth, or the need to innovate the way they run their B2B commercial processes, this is probably the most common scenario that we find our customers in when we just analyze how they're working at the moment through that B2B commercial process. So what we're looking at on this slide, everybody, is if you look at the top 3 points, most of our customers to manage a commercial process at the moment would have a combination of spreadsheets, manual processes, and different point-to-point or siloed solutions to manage one commercial process. What Salesforce CPQ allows you to do, as you can probably see in the blue circle beneath those points, is to consolidate and centralize your commercial process all on one platform. So when we talk about the process, the fundamental starting point of that is that we consolidate your data and then your process. So your pricing, your product, all of that data will be standard Salesforce data, and then you can build your process on top of that. So as you can see, if we start from the left-hand side, you've got your Salesforce CRM that's used for your day-to-day account management, your lead management, all of the typical activities you'd see in your CRM with Salesforce. But then with Salesforce CPQ, we give you the greater ability and capability to really, I suppose, utilize and build upon the important data that you already have in your CRM. So the ability to configure your products through what we mentioned earlier, through bundled products or packages, the ability to price automatically, to discount automatically, to have price rules, to manage different types of pricing models. All of this can be built in, and the logic built into a commercial process in Salesforce. The ability to create a quote and to digitize the sending of a quote to some of our partners like DocuSign. So for example, if you want to send your proposals, your quotes digitally to your customers as part of a seamless commercial process, we allow you to do that with Salesforce CPQ. Order management is a very important part of the process as well. So how do you fulfill your orders? How do you actually manage your orders post winning the sale? Another very, very important part of the CPQ process when it comes to managing a commercial engagement with your customers. And then the final two parts of this process are not part of today's conversation necessarily, but are definitely part of the overall conversation when we talk about what we call quote to cash. So in terms of raising an invoice correctly, in terms of going to collect your payments and your cash, and ultimately sending information to your ERP. That's the process we're looking to streamline with Salesforce CPQ being the driver or the fundamental building block to achieve that on our platform. So Chris, if you're ready to move to the next slide. So as part of the scenario that we see our customers in, as we mentioned on the previous slide, everybody, where there's typically a mix of spreadsheets, very manual process, and lots of different siloed environments to complete or manage just one commercial process. What we also find with our customers is that there's this, I suppose, need for lots of customers to create what we call stopgap solutions. So because sometimes when you have increased complexity and your systems aren't ready to cope with that level of complexity, often we find our customers create what we call temporary solutions to manage that. So they're not optimized, they're maybe using tools that aren't designed or fit for purpose. And by doing that, what we're finding is that our customers and organizations that we work with are creating what we call quote-to-cash technical debt. So what we're finding with our customers when we analyze how they're working, in their current environment, that they are not working in an optimized environment because they're using and creating a lot of technical debt in their technology stack by maybe using tools that aren't designed for certain types of capabilities. So with Salesforce CPQ, we flattened that curve, and we're really allowing our customers to use one platform, one data model to manage a commercial process in a very simple environment. As you'll see later on in the demo with Xavier, it is just Salesforce that your salespeople and your other users will use in a CPQ process in Salesforce. So we're really designing this to be a simplified tool, to use one data model, to have the ability to set all of your commercial process that is specific to your business, to set that up through configuration as opposed to needing customization, which is a very, very big distinction in a quote-to-cash project. Configuration versus customization, which we will touch on later on as well. So one of the remits of CPQ is to get rid of our customers' technical debt when it comes to managing B2B commercial processes. Chris, if you've got another opportunity to move slides. So again, this slide is slightly repetitive in some respects, in the sense that we're going to touch on some of the things that we've mentioned already. But these are the 5 key areas that I find when I'm working on projects, or have been working on projects over the last 5 years, that really stand out in terms of the net takeaways that the customers we work with or the projects we work on have after they implement Salesforce CPQ on the Salesforce platform. So as we touched on before, guys, the ability to have configurable products. So whether that's through bundles or packages, so whether you're a software vendor, whether you're a company that sells subscriptions, whether you're a company that actually creates or manufactures products, or whether you're a company that sells, professional services, hardware, software as part of a bundle, you just can't do that with our standard offering in CRM. And that's what most of our customers have as a starting point. And the key takeaway is the ability to have their products and services bundled in the way they need them to have them bundled. So that's the very first thing that as a takeaway. The second thing that our customers tend to unlock with Salesforce CPQ is the ability to manage time-based products. So again, whether you're transitioning to a SaaS model, whether you are specifically currently a recurring revenue modeled company, or whether just you have certain new product lines that you want to introduce to your customers that are subscription based, Salesforce CPQ is designed to facilitate that. So it is designed as a subscription, as a SaaS, as a recurring revenue tool. In fact, it's more than that. It also allows you to manage your renewals. It allows you to manage what we call your amendment processes as well. So again, the calculations of co-terming and proration, all of that is centralized and managed by CPQ, and taking the need or the burden off your salespeople to have to, facilitate calculating this type of information when they're perhaps doing an upgrade or an add-on to a current subscription or contract. This will all be done by Salesforce CPQ. And again, hopefully during the demo later on today, you will see some of that with Xavier as well, in terms of renewals and managing that side of the thing as well. Aftermarket services or aftermarket part sales, again, this is enabling our customers to, when a customer comes back to you after initial sale, it makes the add-on or the after sale process so much easier, because the system will tell your salespeople or your customer care people what is available for this particular customer to be upgraded to or added on as part of their contract or part of the type of products that they purchase from you. So again, the remit of CPQ is to take the burden off your salespeople having to be product experts, having to go and look for information about a particular customer. CPQ will present that information to your staff and allow them to quote accurately the first time round without them needing to research history about a customer. So again, aftermarket sales, aftermarket services, add-on services to customers, all of that is part of our offering as well in managing commercial process. Again, particularly relevant for today's environment. Again, I probably don't have to mention the situation we're all facing at the moment. But again, remote working, automation of process, whether that's digitization, whether that's giving your salespeople to work out in the road or in the field, and allowing mobile quoting, all of these considerations are fundamental parts of Salesforce and thereby Salesforce CPQ. So again, I won't dwell on the remote working part because we're all doing that at the moment. But if you're an organization that needs your Salesforce and your sales teams to be able to work from home, to be able to quote without needing to have somebody by their side to approve a quote, to give them approval on the discount, those types of considerations, that's exactly what Salesforce CPQ can do as well. And then the final thing as well is around pricing models and revenue complexity. So again, if part of your strategy as a business is to introduce products where you want to have usage or consumption, and as I mentioned also previously, where you want to maybe bill for that in arrears, Salesforce CPQ will allow your sales team to sell products based on usage and consumption schedules. So again, you cannot do that with standard Salesforce CRM, and we manage that complexity out of the box through configuration using Salesforce CPQ. So in a nutshell, guys, the remit of Salesforce CPQ on the Salesforce platform is to reduce the complexity of your B2B commercial process by using one environment and one data model to facilitate those processes. And hopefully that will make sense when we transition into the demo later on today, that you will get a visual kind of feedback as to some of the topics that we're touching on in these slides today. So Chris, if you're ready, if you're kind enough to move to the next slide. And again, to sum it all up in summary, guys, I think this is a great slide that really, from the bottom up, really describes what we're talking about today, but more importantly, maybe what we're going to show you later on with Xavier walking us through the Salesforce platform and the capabilities of CPQ on our platform. So if I could draw your attention, everybody, maybe to the bottom of the slide first, and we'll work our way up. So as I mentioned, one of the massive advantages Salesforce, but Salesforce CPQ specifically offers our customers is the ability to have commonality or standardization of your data. So whether we're talking about your products, your pricing, your accounts, your opportunities, your contracts, your entitlements, your amendments, your assets, all of this now is standard Salesforce data and standard Salesforce objects. Now, you might be asking, why is that important? Well, it's important for the administrative side of your business because on a day-to-day level, if you need to create a new product, if you need to create a new price or a new price rule, if you need to create or pivot very quickly to create something new in your B2B commercial process, safe in the knowledge that from an administrative point of view, that is just a configurable administrative task. It's not custom code. You don't have to ring developers to help you out. It's not a project in and of itself to create a product. You can just do that through point and click. And again, that's a massive advantage for our customers in terms of being able to pivot and reduce that technical debt that we talked about earlier on. So the starting point for all of these conversations is the standardization and the centralization of your data that you require during a commercial process. As we move up this kind of reverse waterfall, you'll see the transaction types. So now, because our customers are using Salesforce and Salesforce CPQ capabilities, they're able to manage, as I mentioned, during their commercial process, all of these different transaction types. So whether it's an initial net new sale, whether it's an upgrade for an existing customer or a downgrade, well, hopefully not, but again, lots of our customers do offer downgrades, whether it's an add-on, a swap, a renewal, a cancellation, or in the current environment that we find ourselves in, maybe you need to offer flexible payment terms or some periods to adjust the current contract for customers that maybe need some grace periods, where they need to have maybe a free trial or a certain amount of time of their contract where they maybe don't pay a certain amount and then they'll pay a higher amount after kind of the crisis is over. That level of flexibility is what Salesforce CPQ is giving our customers. So again, from a transactional point of view, we allow you to model and manage all of these transactions on Salesforce. As we move up the waterfall to the revenue models, again, as I mentioned, if you're a company that has one-time charges, if you're a company that manages subscriptions, usage-based or consumption-based pricing, or have the requirement to have configurable products and packages or bundles, and incorporating professional services, all of that now is out of the box functionality and feature sets of Salesforce CPQ. So again, irrespective of what type of company you are currently, if you have a strategy, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, that you need to be offering a certain type of consumption product, you want to have the majority of your products transition from legacy perpetual into maybe recurring license models, those types of considerations is exactly what Salesforce CPQ enables and empowers our customers to do. And then the final thing at the top of the waterfall, as you'll see, as we touched upon in one of the previous slides, that all of those considerations below that we touched on is all managed in the configure, price, quote process, as well as the order and invoice and payment process as well, if we're talking about quote to cash. So that's effectively what Salesforce CPQ is all about in the middle of that slide. That's the process from data up to the actual process itself. If we look at the left-hand side of this graph, you'll see some of the considerations as well. So for example, if you want to have a partner management system where your partners are able to quote using Salesforce CPQ, and you control what they can quote, what they can price, what they can discount, you can extend CPQ to your partners as well via a community or a portal. If you want to maybe extend via your website, for example, where you want in a limited capacity to allow your customers to self-order, you can also do that with Salesforce CPQ as well. So again, because we're part of the standard Salesforce platform, it is extensible to partner communities, customer communities, or portals to allow you to have a bigger footprint of what you control from a centralized point of view using Salesforce. And then obviously on the right-hand side, we have the ability to integrate to your back-end office. So your ERP, your financial systems of record, your supply chain, your order fulfillment systems, all of this is part of that seamless flow of process, and that's facilitated by integration to your back end. So that's that slide. I know there's a lot of information on it, but that is in a nutshell all of the considerations that CPQ tackles. And if we move to the final slide, Chris, all that remains for me to do at this stage is to thank everybody again for attending the call. Please do populate the questions if you have any in the chat section of our webinar tool. And Chris, I'll hand it back over to you now to launch into the latter end of the session. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, Mark. That was very, very really interesting presentation. I'm so sure that the power of Salesforce CPQ has been shown for sure. So let's move on because we have time limited, and now it's time for a really short survey for you, our attendees, and we very appreciate sharing your answers with us. It's about the challenges of your company where the CPQ could be the answer of your challenges. So first of all, I will start the launch poll, and please select that will be really short time. And after that, we will get back to the presentation. Thank you very much. It will be very helpful for us when we prepare the next webinars about CPQ, and we'll consider your answers on that. So let's move with our webinars. Referring to what Mark mentioned and to the challenges we identified on our landing page, we're 100% convinced that if you face the following challenges in your organization, so pricing and quote creation, the offer of a complex product, contract management, renewals management, amendment management, quoting accuracy. So we know that Salesforce CPQ is a solution that should be considered in your organization, especially if you know that your sales team will grow. So of course, you can probably do these activities manually, but surely if scalability is something you take into consideration for your strategic development plans, you need to find a solution that manual processes that are often a nightmare for sales people will be replaced by technology. So, moving smoothly to the key point of presentation, we'd like to show you how this solution works in practice. So, Xavier, are you with me?
Yes, Krzysztof, I'm with you.
Perfect. So, before we start with the presentation of the solution, at the very beginning, let's imagine a company from the software industry. They provide software for insurance companies globally. And what we know now, they face following challenges. So the first one is complex quoting and regarding new business. The next one is renewals. It's related to recurring business and upsell and cross-sell processes. And the last one, complicated discounting policies and compliance issues.
What's crucial to mention today is that now we are focusing only on the Salesforce CPQ solution, the challenges I had just mentioned. So nevertheless, the important point is that Salesforce CPQ is part of the Salesforce Sales Cloud solution. That is base CRM solution, allowing us to manage standard sales processes. So if you want to learn more about Sales Cloud, please find our webinar on demand only about that solution on our website. Remember that Salesforce CPQ is a complementary part of the Sales Cloud. So that's the best add-on that you could consider, to be honest. And Xavi, are you agree with me?
Yes, I do fully agree with you. So thanks for the introduction, Krzysztof. So before getting to the CPQ product, I would like to have a quick go through, on the CRM platform Salesforce. For those that see Salesforce for the first time. So, and I will start, the journey from a sales representative perspective. And when I do login to the system, this is the first screen I see, which is called the home page, where I can see several dashboards and reports that can inform on the current situation on the sales process, where I can get information about the leads that are assigned to myself, the activity that I'm involved on, and other informations about the sales process. But let's jump into our sales journey, and I will get into my account today. I have a task today to create a new business deal, and I will get into what is so-called the account object. So here you can see the customer card where we have a lot of information about this account. So quick go through. So the account is a centric object where you can find information about the address, websites. You can get also other information related to this account, such as like contacts. And here we're getting to what we so-call the 360 view, where you can get information about people that are involved inside this company, the sales process that are ongoing with this customer, any other tickets open with this contracts, and then at the end the invoicing. So bringing to the sales rep right at a glance the whole overview of the account object. And now, as a sales rep, so I will go to the opportunity object, which is the object that is used to monitor the sales process. And on top of this opportunity, I will be creating a quote. So let's jump into this opportunity and have a quick look at which information do we have. So basically, one of the most important information within the opportunity, this is at which stage do I stay? What is the close date? So to inform about the forecasting cash flow for this specific opportunity, and of course this amount. So since this is a new business, I have like 0 amount, and I will jump into the core about CPQ, which is the quoting process. And Krzysztof, I would like to answer right away about why complex quoting is a pain for most of the customer, because the customer, they used to have their quoting process outside of the CRM platform. Having the quotation process outside of the platform means that, for example, the management team is not able to look at what is going on the sales process. They lose total visibility on the discount that is given, on the product that is sold to the customer. And here, thanks to Salesforce CPQ, we can have this configuration, complex configuration, directly within Salesforce. So now I will be getting into a quote, and I will be configuring my product. So first thing also that makes the complex quoting easier is that we have a feature called guided selling, where asking business questions to the customer, the system will automatically filter a set of products that fits the business requirements from the customer.
Can I get a question to you? So you told us that
Yes.
when we know that our company is facing with a challenge, that our sales reps have to create quotes, and it's an activity that it's sometimes nightmare, as I said before. But how about the discounting policies? So is it a possibility to manage it directly from Salesforce CPQ as well?
Yeah. Yes, of course, and I will get to this point once I will configure my product, because all the pricing and all the policy about the products is also right within Salesforce. So I will be answering these questions, and the system automatically proposes me a product from my product catalog that fits the customer needs, and I will get into this product. And when we talk about pricing policy and a discount, all the configuration, all the pricing that is proposed within my product catalog is fully configured within Salesforce. And I think what is worth for mentioning is that see now all the products, the configuration of the tabs here is fully configured. There is no code to do so, and you can see that the whole configuration is fully maintained by Salesforce CPQ. And we can, for example, it's a common issue with the customer is how to handle cross-selling. Yeah, and here, for example, our professional services, they're automatically bundled to my package, because we know from experience that an expert will need to support our customer to install their application. So in that way, the sales reps just have basically to focus on selling, right? They don't have to think about the product catalog, about the rules, about the pricing. Everything is fully maintained within Salesforce. So let me quickly select some few add-ons, select some few. So I will leave the service level agreement to SLA. I will leave this production services that is standard, so 10 hours. And also I can see that, with this basic license, I get some included features. So let's save this configuration and get into the checkout cart of this quote. So what you can see is that directly we get the pricing of this offer that is composed of bundle and multiple options. I can upgrade the numbers of licenses, and automatically the pricing is updated. So once I completed the configuration process of my product, I get to this layout where I can tune my pricing and apply complex discount. I can apply discount at any level of the product. So it means that I can provide a discount at the level of the top product, but also at the add-ons level. And thanks to that, the management team has full overview on the discounting that I will provide to the end customer. And on top of that, we can also control which product can be discounting. So here we don't provide any discount on the consulting advisory. So thanks to that, we have full overview on the discounting process, and we can fully control a discount on the quoting process. And as you can see, thanks to the approvals process, my manager will be able to review my quotes and approve whether this quote can go out to the end customer. So I'm done with the quoting process now. So you've seen how it was like quick. It took me probably a couple of just minutes to prepare a complex quoting that involves recurring products and professional services and SLA products. So then I will move to the next step of this process. So I will save my quote, and then we have like a quick look on how it's impacted the quote. So we can see, I can see also what is the total discount amount that I provided. If I want to dig in, I can have a look on the product level. Also, which is worth mentioning, is that having the configuration outside of CPQ, we're usually not able to have KPI such IRR, and here we have it right at the quote level, and also we can get information about the cost and the margin that is made on top of this opportunity. So now let's move on, and I will submit this quote for approval to my management team to approve this quote before I can send it to my end customer. So looking at this quote, now I can see that I have like some approval person involved in the process, such as the director of sales that will be approving my discount, and also some other specialists to make sure that the product that I'm selling out is fully correct. So now I will, for the sake of the demo, Krzyszek, I will directly approve this quote and jump into one of the next steps that is usually time consuming, which is producing a PDF quote outside of the configuration. In many cases, I've seen customers having a Word document template file saved on the desktop, and each sales rep have a different version of this document. And then they have to manually copy paste some tables, some terms and conditions, and without any approvals, issue this document to the end customer. Thanks here to Salesforce CPQ, the document is generated directly within the CRM platform. Is the document that is issued to the end customer is always up to date. So we always have like the up-to-date version to be sent to the end customer. So let's have a quick look on how these documents look like to see which elements are part of this quote PDF, and just like save it and send it to my end customer. So quickly you see that we have a summary of my offering with the discounts, with the list price and the net price, and we have also some standard terms and conditions added on this document, and then the signature part. So what is worth mentioning as well, Krzyszek, here, is that this document is fully configured. There is no coding behind this document here. So I will save this quote now, and I will issue it to my end customers, and I will be waiting, for its feedback. So you've seen, Krzyszek, on how a couple of minutes and couple of steps, I was able to configure a quote and issue it to the end customer in a couple of minutes. So giving me the ability as a sales rep.
Yeah, just one comment that it's really perfect. So it seems to be really easy and fast. Well, I guess that saves time spent on that activity salesperson could use for generating new business.
Yeah, exactly. And now I would like to end this new process, sales process here. So by so I got a phone call from the customer, say, okay, I'm good with with this quote and he sign it on paper and send it back to me. That can be a topic for another Krzyszek, another webinar, but we could show also how his signature can be integrated within this flow. So you don't have like to take care about the status of this quote document. But let's move on and let's say that this document has been signed by the end customer, and let's see the magic happens here. So it's will be signed, and usually this is the triggering event that my quote has been accepted. So here again, I don't have to, as a sales rep, to spend time in updating any records, and I can focus on other activities because my quote got accepted and getting into the opportunity. As you can see, the opportunity got clause 1. So you see, just like by issuing this document to my customer and updating that this document has been signed by the customer, I got a clause 1 opportunity. And I can say that this deal is done. Easy. What is worth mentioning, Krzyszek, as well, and I will finish here, and this is usually also a pain for the most of the customers, that not having the configuration within the CRM, it becomes pretty difficult to process the order fulfillment. But here, thanks to Salesforce CPQ, we have an automation that creates an order on top of the existing quote. So my quotes generated an order that would automatically summarize all the products that have been issued to the customer, and then we can have a smooth transition, to the finance team, where they can also trigger the billing process.
Getting back to the challenges, well, as we saw, our company had a problem and challenge with renewals. So the question is, Xavi, what should you recommend our company in terms of renewals?
That's a really good question, Krzyszek. And this is also, I would say, the other pain point that we usually hear from our customers is how to handle renewals. And most of our customers, they think that when they close new business, this is the end of the story of a customer, and they lose the capability to make upsell revenues with the existing customer and building a long-term partnership. Why? Because renewal process is difficult. Renewal process it's hard to have the up-to-date version of the product offering of the end customer. And I will show you, Krzyszek, how Salesforce CPQ can handle this process. Let's see. So here I just log in as Bill. Bill is the account manager, and his task is to take care about existing business. And now we have a task. So to renew the contract with this company. So I will get into this company and see what happens there. So I have an enterprise with an existing customers. I can quickly have a look that we already make business with them, looking at the history of the opportunities. I can see that we had like a new business. We sold to them some services, and along the way, we sold some add-on. And I think that, Krzyszek, what is important mentioning is that contract is a living item. I mean, it's really common that the customer will call you, ask for a new add-on, more licenses, and usually this is also a process our customers are struggling with. But here we just had like the ability to amend a contract and add an add-on. And what is here really important is that you can see that I have a real opportunity created, and this real opportunity is created automatically from my existing contract. So as an account manager, I don't have to run into the office and ask the actual sales rep that took care about this customer for the new business and to get to know which offering we have to renew. Everything is right inside this opportunity. So we can see that, you know, we have like a renewal here. We also have like a relationship to my existing contract. And when I get into my quote, we can see that there is this quote is already prepared. So have nothing to worry about, just to follow the process. So as I did, you know, for the new business check, I will open the line editor so to see what we have there. So while the tool is loading, yeah, so we can see that, you know, all the products that have been purchased by the customers are already within my quote. So I can with confidence get back to my customer and ask them, oh, you have 25 licenses. I saw you grow recently. Maybe you need more licenses. Yeah, maybe I need more licenses. Okay, so let's increase these licenses to 35. Maybe you would like to have like additional add-ons attached to your existing products. Yeah, just have like some additional languages. Yeah, I would like to get SLA Premium because recently we need to be more reactive into our support, right? So this is everything I can do, you know, within this configurator, and everything took just a minute, right? And then have my quote dated, and my renewal process is ready to be sent out to the customer. So yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah, cool. So could you tell me about how it's so important for the companies based on your experience when you cooperate with clients that have these challenges regarding renewals?
Yeah, so as I said you know earlier, the companies usually focus on the new business, and they will say, yeah, have like you know 40% increase on the new business, but on the other side, they don't know that there are 30% churn. So at the end, it means 0% off. And thanks to Salesforce CPQ, you can have the renewals fully automated and taking a low amount of time to a sales rep. Contact your customers and provide them a quote that have big chances to be signed by the customer again. So thanks to that, we can maintain the churn at a low level and still focus on the new business. So this is it, Krishek. My quote is ready, and I will send it to the end customer. Obviously, I'm also bypassing the approval process, just for the sake of time. So I will save this PDF document. I will issue it to the end customer. We may have some negotiation process, but it took me a couple of minutes to generate this quote PDF from the renewal opportunity. So just like I did before, I will also sign this document manually and show you what happens in the background to show that basically we finish this sales process with the end customer, and we're going to have a look on what changed on the account level. So yeah, so we get back to my customer card. I completed the renewal process, so I will have a quick look on the sales, so we can find my opportunity that close one automatically. There is a new order created for this new business, and what is important mentioning is that I have like a new contract created for this new period. So I think that's all I wanted to show you, actually, Krishek, about renewal process.
Okay.
I hope that answers your questions.
Great, Xavier. So, well, I guess that that was a really good presentation. So, thank you very much. So, to quickly sum up, our company, Acme, that had problems with complex quoting, renewals, and recurring business, and the upsell and cross-sell processes, with complicated discounting policies. So now they're able to create complex quotes. Well, I can say faster than ever. They're able to manage discounts and manage their renewals efficiently. So, well, that's what we wanted to show you today, and well, I hope that was something interesting. So once again, thank you, Xavier, and as I understand correctly, that's not whole power of Salesforce CPQ, isn't it?
Yes, we are free, correct. Actually, due to the time, we could only show you the standard path from Salesforce CPQ, but there's a lot of other features that can be used, like contracted pricing, usage products are also handled into the process. How we can easily integrate Salesforce CPQ with an ERP system, a lot of other topics that would be worth discussing in another webinar.
Okay, perfect. So, well, I hope that you will join us.
Now it's time to thank you once again very much for joining us today, for spending this 1 hour. I hope, and I'm sure that that was really interesting webinar for you, and I'm sure that insights will be helpful for you when you're considering this type of solution as your company, for example. And once again, Mark, Nelly, Xavier, thank you for being with me today. So it was a very good job. And well, so thank you, everyone, and stay healthy and enjoy your life.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Thank you. Bye bye.